Welcome to Studio Kitchen, Colorado, home of the Modern Eater Show. I am Juan Padró, sitting in for Greg Hollenbeck while he kicks it in Florida on vacation, visiting his old man. So I am going to be co-hosting with Ryan Harris, who's joining us. Ryan, running around the corner here, Super Bowl champ.
What's up, baby?
Denver Broncos 2015 team, and he just ran from doing another podcast because obviously it's Super Bowl week, which we're pretty excited about, and we're going to talk football, and we're going to talk food with Brother Luck.
Yo,
what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm excited.
All right, so we got some Super Bowl food going. We got some Super Bowl talk. We're also going to talk about community and philanthropy and just all the things that are important to these guys and myself. Food is about bringing people around a table and having great conversations and making a difference in people's lives as well. So, brother, what do we got going on, man?
You know, I'm stoked. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and you got to throw down. So I brought some of our signature items from Beat Bobby Flay.
All right.
We beat him. We beat him with
Bobby
this.
Flay.
I'm
All
just saying. We took the Iron Chef out. So what we're going to be doing today is we've got some pulled pork. I did a smoked and then braised pulled pork. On the show, I had to pull it off in 45 minutes.
Okay.
So that in itself is championship worthy.
So you won. You pulled off pulled pork in 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did that.
No, me either.
Fortunately, today we don't have to worry about that.
So we had some time. We smoked those about 12 hours. We're going to do a really nice barbecue sauce that's infused with some anchovies, some guajillo, some chilies. And then we're going to finish out with a charred pineapple salad. Just to go right on top, a little bit of cotija cheese for some saltiness, a great bite. And then we're going to do my signature wings. This was what I won the first round with, which is our chicken wings.
So you didn't just win one round.
I won them both.
You won them both.
You know, if you
Back-to-back.
you gonna compete, you better win, right? I mean,
Everybody can win
yeah. What you here for?
So we'll see if Patrick Mahomes can repeat against Tom Brady, but we do have a repeat champion here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so we're gonna do our chicken waffle wing. So it's a buttermilk soaked wing that we then crust nice and crispy. We do a scorpion hot sauce, some maple, all that's glazed on there. So it's a delicious wing.
It's a chicken waffle wing?
Yeah, you know,
you have me at waffle. Come on, man. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Slow down. This hot sauce. What is this all about?
Scorpion hot sauce. Yeah,
Are you a little scared about it? I was scared
I
about it.
I want to try it, but I don't want to look like Shaq up here. You know what I mean? Coughing and stuff.
No. We balance it. I think it's all about balance. So
I hear scorpion.
The
I got a little
sweet,
nervous
the
there
heat,
for a second.
the vinegar. You gotta coordinate. You gotta coordinate. You see, you heard me.
The mushroom belt.
You gotta. So it's all about balance, bringing it all together.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to eat this stuff.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about your restaurants in Colorado Springs. We just went through a whole year of COVID. We're still going through it. What's going on down there? I mean, everybody in Denver, we're pretty aware of what life is like up here. I mean, I feel like that's a different world down there. What's happening?
Colorado Springs is special. I have two restaurants down in Colorado Springs, four by Brother Luck and Lucky Dumpling, both restaurants downtown. And the community is really what has allowed us to survive. I mean, my mentor, Marcus Samuelson, taught me restaurants mean to restore. They should restore the community. And I know you believe that. I've seen that every day in your businesses, and it's for us. It's the same, So the community's really come down, support us, backed us up. They've kept the staff working, and we're really just trying to follow the rules and ensure that we're putting out great product at the same time and still maintaining great experiences.
I think that's the biggest thing. That people don't understand. It would be real easy to pare back your menus and just say, you know what, here. We'll start serving food. We're understaffed.
Yeah.
We're tired. We're, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
We're having a rough day. In the hospitality industry, you thrive off engagement with people.
Yeah.
And we're not having that right now, and it's a really difficult time. And to be able to continue, to buckle up every single day and bring out the best in what you do is a pretty amazing thing. So that's super impressive. And Ryan, I know you when we talk about community and lifting people up.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly important thing in your life. You do public speaking. You do anything from corporations to kids and in the whole community. So you understand more than anybody, the need to go out there and impact the community in a positive way. Tell us about what you're doing these days.
Yeah, well, I got my radio show, and always great to join you, Juan Padró, man. I got my radio show, and we try to support small businesses too. Hey, mentioning you could go get your lunch here or there because our show's kind of over the lunchtime hour. I'm doing Notre Dame football, doing some NFL football on radio too, and the speaking as you mentioned. But more and more, especially here in Denver, I want to be in the community doing things, making an impact. And for me, that starts at home with the kids. But I love seeing how many things we've all adapted to, whether it's Brother Luck and his staff still cranking out food, you turning an entire restaurant and serving those who need it most. Right. I mean, these are the people I want to be around, and this is how we can make a difference. And that's the opportunity each of us has in all of our communities.
You talk about a lot of that stuff in your book, a mindset.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about what that mindset means to you and, our listeners to kind of help them going through a difficult time that they're in, There's opportunity here, but it does start with what's up here.
Absolutely, and look no further than the game this Sunday, right? I mean, there are 1,600 players in the NFL this year, and only 53 are going to call themselves champions.
Right.
And it's because of their willingness to work, their engagement as leaders, and their belief in their skills. And so throughout my 10-year NFL career, the one thing that kept me going, that got me through the transition of my NFL career, was my mindset. And I built it with the words, I am, I can, I will. And just said things like, I am here at Notre Dame because I can play football. I will have a good practice tomorrow. And then I started to. And, I am in the NFL. I can play. I will ask questions to become better. I am broke. I had to say that to myself in the NFL, right? Like, I'm
I think
broke.
all three of us have had to say that at one point in time.
And then we said, I cannot do this again. I will learn about money. And so I did those things. And choosing your mindset, you're going to look different. You're going to sound different.
Right.
But that's how you win.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I got to ask you, and I'm going to ask you both. I want to talk a little bit about Black History Month, right? And I want to talk about, I think, what is the food? I asked Adrian Miller this the other day. What is the food that you cook, brother? Tell us about, your culture.
Yeah.
What are the main influences for you?
Absolutely. I think self-discovery is where it starts. And you have to understand the ghost of your past to be able to translate that into your talent. And for me, being Creole, my father's Black, Creole, my mother's Cajun, and it's Louisiana. There's a lot of great storyline about that type of people here in this country. But what it's taught me is how to tell my story. So, a restaurant like Lucky Dumpling is fun because, I grew up in San Francisco and I lived in Chinatown and worked in Asia. But I love fusing Lucky Dumpling into a Creole Cajun Asian fusion because it tells an authentic story.
Right.
The story of Four is really fun because Four is about the locale. We're here in the Four Corners. We're redefining Southwestern, the people of the Southwest. So, it's really engaging that storyline, but also sharing that confidence.
Yeah.
Right? Because somebody fought for you to get here. You better use that opportunity right.
Tell us a little bit more about this, about opportunity. Opportunity is a big word. And my father, being Puerto Rican, used to talk to me about the fact that, your education is going to provide opportunity. Your experiences, if you do this, it's going to provide an opportunity. And I never really understood that until I got to where I am right now. But talk about the opportunities that you were given and the opportunities that you were passed up for that maybe hurt a little bit and that drove you. So talk about some of that.
I think victim mentality is something that stands out for me a lot in my story. And my father passed away when I was extremely young, and I was a product of the streets. And for me, culinary is what took me off of that. At a high school level, I was given an opportunity to be mentored. And a lot of people always ask me, how'd you become a great chef? Where'd you find that passion? Well, I found that passion because somebody told me I was good, and I believed that person. So that gave me that self-confidence to go for it. And when I went for it, I started to achieve. Right. So when I graduated high school, which was a blessing in itself, I walked away with a full tuition scholarship. I had $30,000 paid straight out of high school to go to culinary school.
That's amazing.
And that's, that's where my story, that was just the first door. That was the doorknob, right? I had to walk through that door. And that's where I always remind myself is regardless of your story, your past, it doesn't have to be your present.
What was the first dish where you're like, oh, I got this?
The crepes. Crepes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Those aren't that easy to make.
No.
Don't tell Ricky Bobby. Don't tell Ricky Bobby. Yeah.
I made thousands of crepes because part of the competition was to make crepes. So every day I would have to go in there and work the wrist and spin the pan and be able to get the perfect crepe and French omelets. Those were the two things that we had to be able to demonstrate as 16-year-old kids.
Right? Wow.
And you're talking kids in West Phoenix and South Phoenix. Like, this wasn't the most genuine class or interested class, but these teachers were giving us a lot of education at that time.
Got it. Do you still make young chefs when they're interviewing with you, make you an egg?
Absolutely.
Soft scramble?
I
a lot of our chefs do. Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to get right.
It's one of the, I think we've all kind of come to the assessment when you're a chef, show me your egg dish. You better have a signature egg dish.
Yeah.
Right? I know my signature egg dish. I do a smoked egg, and it's a stained, speckled smoked egg. That's my signature dish.
Wow.
But we think every chef should have one. So it's great to start them out young and be like, teach me your egg dish.
What about confidence and creativity? I mean, both of you guys are chefs. You have to have a certain confidence to do a smoked egg, to do your certain dish. Where do you get that from?
I think it comes from failure. I've fallen, and when you fall, you got to get back up. But that's what experience is.
That's right, and that especially in kitchens, because I think kitchens are a lot different, and a different way of learning than you got an education at Notre Dame. That's a lot different than coming in and hanging out over a hot stove, getting burnt every day and stuff like that. Not saying football wasn't tough, but you're working for probably at the time $7-8 an hour. Wondering what the heck you're going to do. So, what keeps you motivated when you're doing that? I mean, it's got to be the people around you to some extent, but there has to be something that comes from within. And I know you talk a lot about this, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that, brother.
Yeah, for me, everything was education. The way I was brought up was to pay attention and pick up the game. No matter who's around you, pay attention. And for me, when I got into production kitchens, large volume production kitchens, I saw it more than just culinary. I wanted to understand the management practices, how they treated their people, how they motivated their people, how they disciplined their people. I wanted to understand the money, how it came in the door, how it was broken down throughout the entire property, and then how it was distributed out, and what was left over. What did they do with that? So for me, when I got into the hotels and into the restaurants, my goal was to become a salaried position to take the leash off my neck. And it wasn't because I wanted to make money. It's because I wanted to be there all day to ask questions, right? A salaried position is about making mistakes with somebody else's money.
Right.
And that was my mindset, because when it's my cash, I don't want to screw it up, right?
I feel you.
I want to do it with your money.
I feel you.
Good. Look at this pork. Man.
Yeah, that smoke on there is real pretty.
Yeah, smell it.
Nice ring on there. Funny story, the smoker that this was cooked in is the one from Top Chef.
Is that right?
So when we got kicked off of Top Chef here in Denver, we all got $50 a day, right? That's what they give you as a per diem.
Okay.
So you got nothing to do. You're just waiting around for an interview. So you're there for 2 months, and everybody chipped in and bought a smoker. So we bought this Oklahoma
Wait a
Joe.
second. I'm going to cut you off right there. You got a $50 a day per diem. And you had nothing to do. So all the chefs, how many chefs were on the show?
There was 15 of us
15
total.
of you throw $50 in
Yeah.
and you buy a smoker. Of course.
We bought so everybody had a
Undeterred.
different meat aging in the refrigerator, right? So this person got brisket, this person got pork shoulders. Everybody got something different. And every day we would light the smoker and start cooking. So when we got into the getting ready to move to Telluride, they were like, okay, pack up, you guys got to go. So I called up my assistant. I snuck out, called my assistant, and I was like, yo, I need you to come up to this address and grab this smoker. It's chained to the pool.
Chained to the pool.
So he drove up, and he picked up the smoker.
That's incredible.
And drove it down to Colorado Springs. So I still cook on the same smoker at Lucky Dumpling
That's
that we all shared at Top Chef. So
Wow.
it's got some memory.
You got some history brewing there. That's amazing. All right, and now what do we got?
Yeah, so this is that nice chili barbecue sauce that we did. I love working with chilies.
Yeah.
Most of my culinary career, when I was 16, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and most of my culinary career has been in the Southwest region. I love the spices that you can utilize here. So, on top of the chilies, we've got some onions, some garlic, some citrus, some pineapple juice. We've also worked in a little bit of
That's what
molasses.
I'm smelling. I'm smelling the pineapple juice. I
Yeah.
was wondering what that was. Okay.
What's the one thing? A lot of people are going to be trying to act like they know how to barbecue this weekend. I'm a big apple cider vinegar guy. What's the one piece, brother, that you recommend? One piece for their barbecue sauce.
Don't limit yourself to just one style of vinegar. There's so many different varieties, right? Rice wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar or balsamic vinegar. You can open it up and then play around with your fruits, because most barbecues are tomato-based, right? So switch it up. Throw in a peach. Throw in a strawberry. Throw in a blackberry. And that's going to change the components of your barbecue.
That's like a simple piece of advice that any home cook could do. Yeah,
absolutely.
You don't even think about.
Throw it in your smoker.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I mean, he used the pineapple. He's got this slaw over here.
Oh yeah.
That he grilled off some pineapple. It looks like.
So. Well, the funny thing is when they hit me up and they were like, "Hey, you want to do Beat Bobby Flay?" I was like, "Absolutely." It's the first TV show I'd ever done. This is way before Top Chef, and they said, "What's your signature dish?" And I said, "Oh, well, I do this dish." And they go, "Oh, we did that episode. What else you got?" I was like, "Well, I got this one." They're like, not feeling it. I go, "All right, so we don't do this all day long. What episode do you have that nobody else will do?" And they were like, "Well, we really want to do something for 4th of July, like pulled pork." And I was like, "Done." They were like, "How are you going to do it in 45 minutes?" I was like, "I don't know. I'll call you back tomorrow."
Willing, though. You were willing.
Absolutely.
Right.
It was an opportunity.
With his
right?
away.
So, I figured it out, played around with the recipe, and, it's Bobby Flay. Like, this dude he's an icon.
Yeah.
Right? And we all respect what he's accomplished in the industry. But I knew, as much as it's a battle and they don't know whose is whose, they know whose is whose, right?
Right.
If it's got cilantro oil and it's got some chilies on it, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bobby Flay's dish. So I went with that intention of, I'm going to replicate his style because it's similar to my style.
Okay.
And I'm gonna confuse the judges. So when I played it like Bobby. When I used my flavors,
details.
I used Bobby's flavors.
I love it.
So they had no idea. I won the round unanimous.
Really?
They were convinced my food was his food.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Pretty awesome.
Heck
pretty
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. And it's incredible that you're just tucked away in Colorado Springs, and I know you love Colorado Springs.
I do, man. It's beautiful down there.
And it's incredible. But, this guy, he's in San Francisco, New York, whatever. He's going to be one of the best chefs in any city he goes to. And Colorado Springs.
I love
good
it down
for them.
there.
So we're all going to have to make a trip down
Yeah. I'll bring the kids. We'll stay at the Great Wolf Lodge. It's going to be fantastic.
It's gorgeous down there. It's one of my favorite places to be. When I got to Colorado Springs and I saw that mountain range and the simplicity of the lifestyle, I was like, you know what, this is where it's at. We have family down there. My wife has her sister and all of our nieces and nephews there.
I knew there had to be another reason besides those beautiful mountains.
But we're one of those young professionals. We lived in Colorado Springs for, 4 years, got the bug, went to Chicago, went to Texas, and came back.
Yeah.
So it took me leaving Colorado Springs to appreciate Colorado Springs. And now that I've settled, I've invested my time. We obviously have businesses down there. It's my wife and I. We own our businesses. We don't have partners. We make it happen every day. So we are ingrained in that community and always representing the people of that community.
Let's talk about Asia for a minute, though. Sorry, because you mentioned too. you cooked in and traveled and lived in Asia. What the hell got you to go over there, and what'd you learn?
My parents were obsessed with Asia growing up, especially living in San Francisco, because they had worked in Asia. So when I got older, I got the opportunity to go study. So I did one program with the Gohan Society. They sent me to Japan with 3 chefs from New York, and we just traveled around all these Michelin restaurants and worked. And, you get up at 4 in the morning, you go to the fish market, you go to the vegetable market. In the afternoon after prep in the morning, you might go to a sake factory or go see a miso production facility. So it was a really great experience to understand Japanese culture and get to appreciate it because, it's so high level. I mean, they commit. And as an American, I thought that was really cool because, some of the kitchens I was in, I was the first American to ever step foot in that kitchen, let alone pick up a knife.
Right?
That's intimidating. And
were you welcomed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, there's such a respect for culture, and especially with the program we were associated with.
Got it.
But the funny part was I don't speak Japanese, right? And I'm a big dude. I'm standing in the kitchen.
Slightly different than English.
Yes,
just a little bit. And I would use Google Translator to communicate. So I would type it on my cell phone, and then I would push enter and hold it up. and push the audio, except it was this little girl's voice, this little Japanese girl's voice. So they were cracking. They were cracking up. They thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Every time I would try to translate something in audio, so I started using images after that. But Japan was great. After that, the Joyce Hella Chen Fund gave me a grant to go study in China. So I worked my way through China, and it's always just been a big piece of something I've appreciated and wanted to know more about. And it was cool to, when you work traditional in any culture, you always want to put your own spin on something, right? Right. I'm inspired because I think that's what American food is.
We use that word a lot. If you like walk into Senor Bear, for example, it says Latin inspired. Yeah. So authenticity to me really has more to do with like a human interaction than anything. And food, what's authentic? We were talking about this with Joe Sasto the other day. What the heck does authentic mean? If your father did it this way and your mother did it this way and it's the same dish, which one's authentic? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and think about American culture, right? The only true American cuisine is indigenous people.
Right.
So we are inspired by many cultures because everybody came here.
That's right.
So I think that's something that also affected. We don't have one specific style because we're influenced by so many people that travel and settle. So it definitely makes sense to say inspired.
So you're heavily inspired by Asian culture. What about Cajun? Cajun culture, that is like such a unique and dynamic food culture.
Yeah.
Creole.
When you look at Creole, it's French, it's African, it's Spanish, it's Native American. There's some Latin in there. There's obviously European, big influence of European. But it's because of the slave trade. When you look at how people came in and how, we became, a lot of the cooks were trained by French chefs. So the French chefs could go back to France, and now Big Mama's cooking in the house.
Yeah. Right.
So a lot of our food that we define here as soul food or Cajun Creole food has that storyline of all those cultures blending. Right. There's a lot of flavor because it comes from traditional French cooking. Right. But then you get great ingredients coming from Africa, and you see things like peanuts and sweet potatoes make their way into this country through that trade. It's a fun even something like tamales. Right. Tamales were in the field. Yeah. Right. That's not just in Mexico. That was something that it transported. It held heat. They would take it into the field.
I was shocked as I was preparing to do these episodes, and very conscious of the celebration of the African diaspora, which is Black History Month. And, I was looking at all the different things from Africa that influenced European food. And we own Bardot, which is a modern Italian restaurant. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know that I ever really thought about how Africa influenced Italian food.
Absolutely.
And when you think about pastries, pistachios, almonds, clove, all the flavors that you get in these incredible pastries, those all came from Africa. Then as I was researching more, and this is an incredible thing, and I don't know why it's incredible. To me, it shouldn't be, and this is a problem I think that we have, and we can talk more about it afterwards. But modern farming practices for rice in particular came from Africa to Europe. Yeah. We usually think about it the other way around. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? And it's just really, really, really an amazing history over there, and it's something I want to learn a lot more. I want to learn a lot more about.
You both just gave me a whole history lesson. Yeah. That's unbelievable. Now I do decline the swine, so I'm gonna need one just the pineapple.
I got you.
Can make me you got chicken wings.
I got those wings are gone. Those wings are gone. You brought the right athlete from the NFL to eat some chicken wings. That's for sure.
And this is the problem I have. I've got 275-pound and 265-pound guys on both sides of me. I don't know if I'm going to get any wings.
No wings for one.
I'm going to take advantage
no
of the pork.
wings for one.
I'm going to take advantage of the pork sandwich. So.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm a curious person by nature, but it's because I don't want to repeat the same mistakes of the past. And I think you need to understand the past to be able to progress.
That's right.
And
I think that's super important.
I love reading about history and finding out, storylines, because there's so much education. It's even when we create dishes. Yeah. I talk to a lot of these young cooks, and they're like, oh, I'm going to put tarragon with portobello mushrooms, and I'm going to hit it with some peppermint. And you're like, why are you trying to create new flavor profiles? If you would just look at traditional dishes and say something like a peach melba works, then use those flavor profiles. They've already figured it out. Just
Right.
redo the dish with different flavors.
I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about that when we come back. We do have to take a break. I'm Juan Padró with Chef Brother Luck, with Ryan Harris. We do have Daniel Graham that just joined us on Zoom, and we'll be talking to him when we get back, which is pretty exciting. And we also have a special guest, Eric Bradley from Behind the Rose podcast, who's going to be joining us at Anywhere Where There's Food, Eric is. So we're going to go off the break, and when we return, I look forward to having a great conversation about Super Bowl, more food, more history, more philanthropy, more community. This is the Modern Eater Show.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? This is Brother Luck from Lucky Dumpling, 4 by Brother Luck in Colorado Springs, and I am rocking with the Modern Eater. You're watching them, you're tasting them, you're knowing everything there is to know about Colorado.
Hi, Charlie from Brews Beers here. Our new Belgian Abbey 4-pack is a mixed package of the 4 core beers made in Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So we have a single, a double, a triple, and a quadruple in one package. Now, quadruples are the emperors of Belgian monastery ales. They're dark in color, with a dense tan head and alcohol ranging from 8 to 12%, so they're pretty strong. Quadruples are very rich and complex with big maltiness, spice, and flavors of raisins, cherries, and plums. Alcohol is apparent in the mouthfeel, but not overwhelming, even at 10.5% ABV. So the finish is long, complex, and dry, and they're great beers anytime, by themselves or with hearty foods. Pick up your Abbey 4-pack at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos, or at Colfax in York, and at fine liquor stores throughout the Denver metro area. Take home some Belgian-style badassery today.
You're watching The Modern Eater, and now back to the show. All right, you guys, back to the show. But before we get back to the show and Juan Padró, I want to talk to you about Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. If you're a restaurant owner and you need new tap systems going into your restaurant, there's nobody better in the business than Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Give them a call, 720-272-3809. Jeff works with restaurant owners and managers to make their dreams come true. So it's not just the big box store, you're going to put tap system in. No, you're going to talk with Jeff. Jeff is going to say, well, what's your vision? How do you want this to look? Let's do it right. Let's do it right the first time. With over 20 years in the business doing it, trust me, Punch Bowl Social, that company, they send him all over the country to install their tap lines. They do it for a reason. He knows what he's doing. He's the best in the business. It's A-Plus Beverage Solutions. His phone number again is 720-272-3809. One more time, 720-272-3809. Just call Jeff. Now back to the show with Juan Padró.
Welcome back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado, the home of the Modern Eater. Juan Padró sitting in for Greg Hollenbeck. He's not at the Super Bowl. He is in Florida. And I'm here with Ryan Harris, Super Bowl champ, Denver Broncos 2015, analyst for Notre Dame football. I can call you a philanthropist. I think that is an accurate statement, which is probably what I like most about you. I'm here with Chef Brother Luck, incredible chef. 4 by Brother Luck, Lucky Dumpling in Colorado Springs, top chef contestant, beat Bobby Flay contestant. We're going to eat some of the stuff that he beat Bobby Flay with, which is pretty exciting.
Robbed on chops.
Yeah. Daniel Graham, former New England Patriot. I'm a Patriots fan, as you know, so this is a very exciting thing for me. And, I've got to meet and talk to Daniel on several different occasions, but also a Super Bowl champ. How many? 1, 2...
No, just 2.
Just 2. I was like, is it 2 or is it 3?
But he does have the Colorado Hall of Fame jacket.
He
So
does
being
have
one
the
of
Colorado.
best athletes in Colorado history.
Amazing. And are you wearing a Colorado shirt, not a Patriots shirt?
Hey, you know,
Oh, man.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Colorado just got to recruit Jack Lamb from Notre Dame, man. Maybe he can help return Colorado back to the Daniel Graham days of glory, you know?
Well, since Ryan invited me on here, there's one school that I hate a lot, and it's Notre Dame. Don't take it personal, Ryan, but I got to represent my school.
Every time, every day, I see Daniel Graham. He'd ask me, "How's Notre Dame doing?" Because he knows he beat Notre Dame back in the day, and he told me it's a part of the pass. It's like walking in the door.
Man, I'm not that old, man.
Yeah. Hey, but DG, you've actually played with Tom Brady. What's it like? The days up to the Super Bowl, getting ready and preparing with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
Well, it's almost two different sides, of getting preparation, for the Super Bowl. And, you have experience with that, Ryan. First thing, you got to take care of all the stuff that doesn't matter on Sunday. You got to make sure your family is straight, the tickets are straight, getting all that taken care of so that you can focus on, the game on Sunday. And, just leading up to Super Bowl Sunday, it is a nerve-wracking, experience, just because that everything's on the line. There is no tomorrow. Speaking for myself from that first Super Bowl, you just never know if you'll ever get back to this situation. So, you're just trying to make sure that you're prepared and, that you're ready to go on that Sunday.
I remember the thing I remember most about the two Super Bowls that you played in was against Carolina. You're blocking against one of the greatest defensive ends of our generation, Julius Peppers. And that's talked about, as probably the reason why we won that game. The fact that he couldn't get to Brady. What was that like, preparing for a guy like that?
It was a tough situation. I mean, we all know how good Julius Peppers, was, and one thing that Patriot fans know, and a lot of just football fans, know and heard the phrase "do your job" from Coach Belichick. And my thing was, whatever I can do to help this team win, I'm gonna go at it and do my best. And one of the assignments for me was blocking Julius Peppers, and it was a tough assignment. But when I step on the field, I'm out to dominate and anybody across from me. And I just went out and played my game, and I was happy to do my job, do my part to help this team get that victory.
One of the things that you and I know about winning the Super Bowl, Daniel Graham, is that it starts kind of before that game. And we were talking earlier about the leaps that chefs have to take with food, at times when you have to put your best out there and take a risk. What do you look at throughout your football career that led you to that moment to be a champion? What leap of faith did you have to take that you were great and you could do amazing things like block a Julius Peppers?
Just put in the hard work, on Monday through Saturday, and for a lot of folks who you want to be successful in anything you do. It's before you get to the game day, I mean, you have to prepare yourself and get everything right, know what you're doing, and getting up to New England, I mean, I just fell in line with all the bets that we had. When I got to New England, it was a year after they won their first Super Bowl. So it was already understood how they operated in New England. So, coming in as a rookie, it was like, fall in line and, see, this is how it is being a professional. And this is, what it takes to be a winner.
Is there anything to this talk about Brady versus Belichick and who's responsible for the last 20 years of success in New England? And, the way I look at it, I didn't play professional sports. I played in college. I always felt like team sports were team sports, and the defense was important, and the offense was important, and the special teams are important, and the coaching is important. But is there anything to this, like, one-upmanship that people are talking about in the national media?
This topic is going to forever be a topic of discussion. And, in my opinion, there is no one Belichick over Brady or Brady over Belichick. Everything starts with your head coach. And, I realized, when I was in my last year in New Orleans, the significance of a head coach. Not everybody can be a head coach.
Right.
And, people want to talk about, is it Brady or is it Belichick? Well, you got to understand that Brady's only on one side of the ball. And, he did everything he could, to keep our offense rolling, make sure that we are all in the right situation. But, Coach Belichick is in charge of the entire team. And, as you look back at, Brady's career, I mean, it was a few Super Bowls where, that defense really stepped up. So you can't say, it was one or the other that, is, ahead of the other one.
One of the things about the Super Bowl games, something's different. It's more physical. I think of the 10 hardest hits I've had in my career, 5 of them came in that game. Now, I played tight end for a snap in the regular season one year, and I tried at the goal line to try and get through and get on that underneath crossing route. You know what I'm talking about, Daniel Graham. But a lot of people are going to be watching this game. Big tight ends on both teams. What's different about the Super Bowl for the tight ends in the game?
Well, people might say I have a biased opinion on this, but, after the quarterback position, in my opinion, the most important position on the field is that tight end, and if you have, one big difference, with the tight end is if you have a tight end like, Gronk or Kelsey that stay on the field for 3 downs, it definitely helps your offense because now you're not tipping to the defense if you're in a run situation or if you're going to pass the ball. And, with those two guys, arguably number 1 and number 2 at the tight end position, they will be by the time, their careers are over with. They are a mismatch all across that field. They're going to outrun pretty much any linebacker you put on them. And then if you put a safety on them, they're much bigger, so you might as well just throw it up to them. And, although Gronk is not the Gronk that we know in the past, he's definitely going to, open up that field for the rest of the offense for Tampa Bay. And, Kelsey, he's just going to be himself. He's going to eat. He's going to have a big game.
All right, a lot of football talk. We appreciate that. I know you like to eat.
Yes, I do.
So, and I've seen you eat.
That's why they're not receivers.
On several occasions. And I don't know if you've ever met my friend Chef Brother Luck here, who's in Colorado Springs. But this guy right here is one of the best chefs in Colorado, and he does incredible stuff. He's been on Top Chef. He's beaten Bobby Flay, and he's doing a little bit of Super Bowl food for us here. I need to understand, what are you going to be eating tomorrow?
See, look, you're getting ahead of yourself. You mean on Sunday, huh?
Oh,
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. See, that's a champ. Yeah, the detail.
Well, I know you, so I know it's got 48-hour party for you.
Yeah, I'm going to eat whatever Ryan has sent over to my house. That's his payment towards me, No, but, I'm going to just do some wings, I mean, you can't beat wings on Sunday, when you're watching football games. Nothing beats wings.
Last thing for me, Daniel, I remember just being so hungry after the Super Bowl because you don't eat for 6.5 hours. What did you eat after your Super Bowl victories? What was the thing that you got to, or did you remember saying, oh, I'm drinking this or eating this, and I'm a Super Bowl champion?
Man, you know what? I don't even remember eating anything after the Super Bowl. It was time to party, It's time, pour up the drink, let's have a cigar, and let's celebrate,
I hear you're quite the mixologist. What's your drink of choice?
You said what?
I heard you're quite the mixologist. What's your drink of choice?
My drink of choice has never changed for about the last 20 years. With my wings on Sunday, I'm going to pour up a little nice cup of cognac, some Hennessy, and, that's what I like to do.
Put a little on ice or neat?
I'm going to put a little bit up on ice, since Ryan asked me to come on here, big time, I thought I'd, have a little bit of, this pure white.
Oh, that right there is international.
But I'm going to go ahead and pull out the big dog, the Paradise, my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have the good stuff since I'm on here with you guys.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we got to go to break. Man, Daniel, it's incredible to have you here. I appreciate it so much. I've had an opportunity to meet you. You're an incredibly generous person, and thanks for coming on the show. And I hope you enjoy your Super Bowl weekend, and it brings back a lot of positive memories for you. And I hope to see you soon around town, man. So,
So,
thank you.
I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to coming down to the chef's restaurant. I might just stop by there and see what you're really about.
Oh, you know what? I think we're gonna make one big trip.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Ryan can designate drive.
Yeah. Leave
and
your
I-
belts at home. Just leave your belts at home. That's it. No belts.
Stretchy pants.
Yeah.
Stretchy pants.
Hey,
All right,
hey,
we gotta go
fellas.
to break.
Hey, Juan, I know we're going to break, but before I have to take this opportunity. This is Jay, producer Jay, over in the corner, because Daniel and I have something in common, and he doesn't know it, and nobody knows it, but I want to share it with you right now. You guys ready for this?
We're ready.
He's got 'em
We
scared.
both run a 4.640.
Don't get out of here.
Just so you know.
Graham,
Just so you know.
40 yards, 40 feet.
You out here lying to people on your Wikipedia, Daniel? Man.
It's unbelievable that he doesn't believe you and he believes him. It's what's really unbelievable.
That's what I don't understand. Yeah, we
Now-
do have that in common, and I think
All right.
you shorted me a few seconds.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break here from Studio Kitchen, Colorado, and the Modern Eater. I'm Juan Padró with Ryan Harris, Brother Luck, Daniel Graham, Eric Bradley. We will be right back to eat this incredible food by Brother Luck.
Yeah.
This is we're going to eat all this.
We're going to talk chicken wings. We got to talk chicken wings
Yeah.
now.
When we get back. Daniel, feel free to stick around. We'd love to have you if you want to talk wings.
Hey guys, Alex
All right,
Armitage over
appreciate
Stand
it.
Number
All
3
right.
Glendale. You want a Bloody Mary? You want a cheeseburger? You want a breakfast burrito? Greek salad? Bacon gyro meat? Chicken souvlaki? Barbecue ranch salad? We got you covered. Come down and see us. One more time. Try it again. Hey guys, Alex Armitage over here at Sam's Number 3 Glendale. Now get your ass to themoderneater.com. Thank you so much.
We started Meridian Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together to socialize, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coop Vodka and Coop Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridianspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coop by Meridian, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey guys, it's Caroline Glover. I'm the chef owner of Annette out at Stanley Marketplace. Citrus is about to be in its prime. I just want to thank everybody for showing so much support to small local restaurants in this really hard time. And you're watching the Modern Eater Show. I'm fine with that.
Back to the show in just a second, you guys, with no big deal, but some Hall of Fame, Super Bowl winning football players. That's what it is. But I want to talk to you right now about the Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start. And it's a free course. It's 3 weeks long, and they teach you the fundamentals of what you need to jump into the workforce. If you're looking for a culinary career, the Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start is a great place to start. Just go to themoderneater.com, click on the Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start tab. The sign up pops up, you sign it up, it sends it off, and you get in. And it's awesome. It's real easy. And, again, it's the right price. It doesn't cost you anything. How could you turn that down if you're somebody that's looking for a job in the restaurant business? Juan, you have a few restaurants. Brother Luck has a few restaurants. Juan, wouldn't you like somebody to have at least a little bit of formal trainings when you onboard them?
Yeah, when I talk to chefs and I say, hey, what's the most important thing to be successful? It does begin with your passion and your desire to learn and your work ethic. and your ability to be intellectually curious. But you have to have some basic skills, and the Emily Griffith School provides those basic skills, something like a basic knife skill. We actually have 2 kids from Emily Griffith staging at Mr. Rosso today. That was just pretty crazy. So, we want to take some of these young kids and work with them and get them going into a really cool culinary career. And brother, I know that you are a big believer in training and education. So I imagine this is important for you too.
Yeah.
Cool. So welcome back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado, home of the Modern Eater. This is Juan Padró in for Greg Hollenbeck with Chef Brother Luck, Ryan Harris, Eric Bradley. Why don't you come in here because we're going to be eating some food. We do have a poll question before we get going. This is like an age-old debate. If you have to give up one food, pizza or wings for the Super Bowl, what are you going to give up?
You know what the count's at right now? You won't believe it.
What is it?
50-50.
It's 50. Well, Ryan?
No. Pizza, sorry.
Eric?
Goodbye.
I'm not giving up chicken.
Pizza gone. So now there's four votes for wings, partly because we're staring at these incredible wings that brother made. And, by the way, he's bigger than me, and if I said pizza, I don't know what would happen. So, anyways, Eric Bradley, welcome Behind the Rose. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Thanks for
All right, man. And when there's food, Eric's going to be around for sure. So for those of you who don't know Eric, he's represented NFL athletes and country music and the Bachelor guys and marketing gigs, and he's got Behind the Rose podcast, which is syndicated now and picked up. Where can they hear that?
Everywhere you can stream. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of taken off like wildfire, so that's pretty incredible. So, but we had to bring you in because I knew that when brother was going to come up and cook, it wasn't going to be for 2. So brother, talk to us, man. Talk to us about these wings.
No, absolutely. I think chicken wings are a staple when it comes to Super Bowl, and I think there's a lot of different recipes and approaches and ways that people make them. But, this is my standard style of how I do my wings. Now, I grew up with, my aunties or my mom frying that chicken in a cast iron. It takes forever, and it bleeds forever. And then you get into the center, and there's like that one piece of bone that's red. And you're like, man, I can't get past it. But it was delicious fried chicken. For me, I actually like to poach my chicken first.
Okay.
So I make a really nice bouillon of carrots and celery and onion and herbs. And then I poach that chicken until it's nice and tender, right? It's starting to just before it falls off the bone. Then I take it out, I cool it down, I get it nice and cold, then I soak it in the buttermilk. So I get all that acid in there, let that go overnight. So when I toss it in my seasoned flour and drop it in that hot oil, I'm going to get the crust, I'm going to get the crunch. I know it's extremely tender. I've infused a lot of flavor into the wing, and I'm sure it's done at that point. So now it's just about finishing them and putting together a great sauce.
All right, for our home cooks out there, talk to us about the poaching.
Yeah. So a poach is a simple technique. What you're going to do is instead of bringing your water to a boil, you're going to bring it to the point where it does not break the surface, right? A boil is rapidly moving. The poach is just going to kind of sit there and chill. That's about 180 degrees. So we want to get it to that temperature and allow the chicken just to kind of do its thing, because you're going to take it to 165 degrees. So you're just going to let it poach nice and slow, let it do its thing, walk away, taste that Cavassier, come back, and then you got some chicken wings that you can cool down.
Are you okay? So when you take it out of the liquid, are you letting the chicken cool down before you bread?
Yeah, so I like to let them sit in there and make sure that they've soaked up that juice, and then I take them out, I drain them out, I save the stock because that's what I use to make my gumbos, my soups, all that other good stuff. But that chicken now I'll lay down on a tray and allow it to cool in the fridge. So before I put it into the buttermilk, it's cold completely. Then it soaks in that, picks that up, and then it gives me a great crust. So it's a unique way that I've started doing my wings over the last few years, and this maple wing is a perfect example of that.
I think people just get super lazy and throw wings in a fryer sometimes. And not that they're not delicious.
Yeah.
They totally are delicious. Sausages are really good, all that stuff. But recently, I've had confit wings, which are incredible.
Yeah.
Basically cooking in its own fat. And now I can't wait. I don't know that I've had chicken wings that were poached first, but I think I'm pretty excited about this. So there's different ways of doing things. We talked about that earlier. I got to stop talking. Let's eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've taken this nice and crispy. We then toss it in some maple, some butter. We made a house scorpion hot sauce. If you want to use your Franks at home, you want to use your Cholula, your Tabasco, your Louisiana, whatever you want to put in there, use the hot sauce. Toss all that together, and you get a beautiful glaze on there. So feel free, dig in. I also made a nice charred pineapple salsa. I love eating fresh ingredients like that.
Get in.
When you throw that cotija in there, it's salty. It's something delicious. Really stands out. It's a different twist on a coleslaw.
Wow, that maple.
Isn't that crazy? I'm telling you. I made these for another Bronco favorite, Ross Smith.
Yeah.
And he went live from the restaurant eating these wings, and I sold out for like the next month.
Dude, the chicken, as you mentioned, the chicken feels so tender.
It's tender,
smooth,
yeah.
man.
So the scorpion sauce is not going to put me in.
No. We balance it. And
Yeah.
everything's about the right amount of vinegar, the right amount of fruit component to work with it. But yeah, see what I'm saying? I love a wing that just it doesn't fall completely apart, but it's definitely tender.
You're not
and
fighting it. You're not fighting it.
Yes. And I do this with my fried chicken as well when I'm working with a whole bird, an 8-way bird.
This tastes a lot like fried, almost like a buttermilk fried chicken.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's some great
really
techniques. There, I work with my buddy Chris Scott from Top Chef. Makes the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life, and he does a lemonade brine, Kool-Aid brine chicken, and that is just one of my favorites. So, definitely a fun twist on it.
Yeah, that's incredible. Ryan, how you doing? I know you got a mouthful.
Yeah, he took the bowl.
I know. And he went big
It
with
just
the-
slips right in, man. You're all good, man. It's delicious.
Eric, you've had a lot of wings because I know this because I've eaten a lot of wings with you.
I've
Yeah.
never met a wing I have not liked. That one, this is a whole nother level.
Yeah,
This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tell me about the presentation, though. I mean, Juan, I know you know this too, but
Yep.
someone like me, I'm an amateur with a small A,
Uh-huh.
right, in the kitchen. But everything you guys do, it looks delicious the way you present it. You stack the rings vertically. I mean, most people would do it around. Give some people just a couple of quick tips.
Here's the thing I think most people don't realize, and at least for me, when I went to culinary school, it was mandatory to take art history.
Really?
Is that
So
right?
yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know that.
So you had to actually think about color hues, and you had to think about different landscapes and structures and how things were built high and volume. So when I plate, I always think about the visual because you're going to eat with your eyes first, and then you're going to get into the taste last. So you've got to be thinking about those sensories before you actually get to it. So I love the visual because you're eating with your eyes.
Yeah, I think that's important, how the food looks and stuff like that. Eric, you take athletes, any clients. I know you work with people across the spectrum. But when I met you, the majority of the time it was, hey, I'm coming in with Derek Wolfe, or I'm coming in with Louis Vasquez, or I'm coming in with some athlete from somewhere. How do you choose where you take these guys? Because I imagine they're kind of picky. I know Ryan is.
I mean, lots of times it's just, going to your family spots,
Right.
which are mostly your restaurant. Where you know you're going to get treated right,
Yeah.
the best food possible. And, you guys make it real simple for everybody. So once we get there, we're treated like family. I mean, most of the time we go above and beyond. And that's pretty much
I
it.
imagine there's like a lot of awkwardness, and Ryan, you can comment on this too. When you're an athlete and you're going into a restaurant and people are kind of staring at you and doing those types of things. What is that? I don't know what that feels like. You might be on Top Chef. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, the thing you want at the end of the day is you just want to be treated as a hungry human being, right? And so sometimes restaurants will be like, hey, can you sign this autograph? Can you meet these people? And it's great to do that, right? Because like you mentioned before, you get to restore with a restaurant. And restaurants are tied to communities like yours are. And also, at the end of the day, I'm coming down from trying to rip a man's head off. I just want to eat in peace. So great restaurants, I think, just honor people's space to eat and privacy to do that. And that's one of the things that you do find those spots where you're going to be safe. You're not going to get a picture of you mouth open on some chicken wings, and that is important because you just want to be able to eat in peace.
Right.
We're kicking back that yak.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. After the win, do whatever you need, man.
I know this guy's not. That's for sure. So, yeah.
I've only fangirled out once on an athlete in my restaurant. Only once. And it's because it was a childhood hero. But Barry Bonds came and ate my restaurant.
Wow.
And I was like, No, that's not really his reservation. But he cycles down in Colorado Springs because, we
Cycles?
have the,
Cycles?
he trains with a lot of
the bicycle cycles.
bicycles, yeah.
I thought you, yes, okay.
So we have a
yes.
lot of Olympic athletes down there being Olympic City.
Freudian slip.
Yeah. But I did that same thing with Lance Armstrong, I was actually in a spot and everybody's like, coming up to me and some of the other people. I'm like, man, it's kind of strange when people do that to someone. Lance Armstrong. There are those athletes, actors, actresses that you just got to say hi, and that's those are cool moments as well.
Yeah, and he was so gracious. He came in the kitchen. He said hi to the whole staff. He's a big time foodie, so he works with Michael Mina. He has a lot of projects with him, so it was actually really cool. And I just happened to have a pot of gumbo working in my kitchen at that moment, so I was able to kind of share some of the family recipe, and I had made it for staff meal that day, so it's always something cool to be able to tell that story of what the food translates into the experience, because it sometimes has the ability to make it even more.
I want to talk about the kitchen table, and we're all sitting around the kitchen table. And I'm going to bring it back to Black History Month again. And I want brother and Ryan, I want you guys to comment on this. What do you tell a young black man who's coming up? I know we talked a little bit about it earlier. Whether you want to be an aspiring chef, whether or not you want to be an athlete, whether or not you want to be an educator, no matter what. What's the message that you're giving? The one piece of advice that you say, hey, this is what you have to do to be successful. And then I'm going to follow that up with a question is, how can myself, as a restaurateur, and brother, you can probably either chime in or probably get some good advice too from Ryan on this, is what can we as restaurateurs do to help bring this conversation to the forefront about providing opportunity? Because you talked a ton about opportunity. Mm-hmm. What do we got to do to get this thing going? Because there's something that's not working in our country right now, and I feel like food is what's going to bring us together.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I mean, food, they actually have clinical studies that show when you eat with strangers, your brain builds neural pathways that makes them like family to you. So even just being able to sit together and have a meal, whatever it is you're eating, you're already coming together and coming closer. We could do that. Mm-hmm. I love when restaurants have the community tables, right? No reservations. Sit down next to somebody you can eat. Mm-hmm. And to begin your question, though, Black history, we are born to take risks. And if you can take risks and be successful, and your success can serve the community you're in, that's winning. And that's what I would start with.
Mm. Yeah. And I think don't be afraid to try something outside of your comfort zone, because the world is such a large place. And when you get to experience different things, say yes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to open doors for you. It's going to open experiences. It's going to change your mindset. And it's really going to continue to enhance your ability to perform and really camouflage yourself into situations.
What is the experiences that you've had in your life like? How has that helped you mature mentally? In terms of how you perceive certain things. Has it given you a broader spectrum of acceptance? Has it what's the biggest thing?
Yeah, where I come from, how I was raised, I grew up real early, and I've carried that my entire life. So I've always been around people who are much older than me, and have given me knowledge, and it's just kind of shaped my mentality to continue to pass that on. I know my responsibility is to get in the door because I get access much faster, and open the door, and open the window, and open the basement, and bring everybody along. So, I think that's one of the most important parts is just inclusion. Making sure that, we're not fighting with each other, that we're opening doors for each other.
Awesome. Ryan, growing up in Minneapolis, yes?
Yeah, St. Paul, Minneapolis.
St. Paul, Minneapolis. You went to Cretin-Durham High School, which is a legendary high school football program.
Yeah.
I kind of think there's a few other guys that kind of came out of there when you were coming out, right? There was another Brady,
Michael
maybe.
Floyd, and I played with Joe Mauer, hopefully soon to be Hall of Fame baseball player, and a lot of greats. A lot of great talent.
How'd you choose Notre Dame?
I originally wanted to go to Miami, and my parents were like, no. You know what I mean? Miami took a 17-year-old Minnesotan and brought him to the beach in the end of November, and I was like, I'm coming.
They had a lot of success recruiting at Cretin-Durham. If I remember, a lot of quarterbacks went there.
Yeah, and they had just won the national championship, so this is my, I graduated 2003, and I'll never forget sitting there with Larry Coker, and he's like, hey, these rings are a 7-seater. You can see them from 7 seats away. So I was like, man, I need a 10-seater sometime, and I think we got one, But Notre Dame gave me the opportunity to compete on the field and in the classroom. I mean, I was playing Michigan and USC. You know what I mean? I was going to play Michigan State, and I was going to play Boston College. So at the end of the day, in my 4 years, there wouldn't be an opportunity for me to say, well, we kind of hid from the best competition. But I also want to take that beyond the field, right? Because they got a lot out of me playing football at Notre Dame. I wanted to get the most out of my education, and Notre Dame gave me the best opportunity to do both. And there's no South Beach in South Bend, Indiana, so I was safe in
just
at Notre Dame.
St. Mary's Community College.
Yeah, and I'll travel, you know, to Florida to vacation. So Notre Dame was the best decision of my life, and it really opened me up. You know, much like I'm sure new kitchens do for you guys. I mean, it opens you up to a whole new wave of people you would never have met and mentioned. I didn't know they had BMWs without tinted windows until I went to college, you know, and that's just the car their parents got them. So I got to learn about a way of life that totally different from mine, and also was equipped with the tools to succeed on and off the field.
Eric, I know you kicked and scratched your way up to being what you are now, and I've known you for 20 years or so. It's got to be. It's roughly 20 years. So just seeing all the things that you've been able to accomplish. Typically this week, you're at the Super Bowl. I think you've been to the Super Bowl every single year that I've known you. So what is this like? Is this a weird thing?
It's very different, I'm sure, for you as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
normally,
nice.
like you know, you're looking at the food, you know, we're sampling food, and like one of my favorite nights down there is the Tuesday night media party, because normally it's the host city. You get to host they host the local cuisine everywhere from around there. But it's like thinking about it this week. It's like, what is Tampa's
local
cuisine? I
posed that question on Facebook, and I think I got like 20. I mean, people were like fried grouper, Cuban sandwiches, and they're like barbecue, and I'm like, what? Barbecue in Tampa?
Gator.
Barbecue gator. Yeah, people were saying gator.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll eat some gator. So, I mean, food's part of everything. But, Tampa's definitely not known for that. Hopefully, Brady can stick around there for another year or two and bring some sort of football culture down there. They have won, though, right? Didn't they win in 2002 with Warren Sapp?
Yep.
Yeah.
Brad Johnson.
Yep. Wasn't Gruden the coach?
Gruden was the coach,
Gruden was the coach, and Brad Johnson was the quarterback. Didn't he play for the Vikings?
He did play for the Vikings, and he did not win a Super Bowl with the Vikings. So we were like, we're going to do it again.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Well, listen, man, this food is absolutely incredible. I'm going to dive into these pork sliders here when we go to break, which we're going to do right now. And when we come back, I'm going to wrap up with Ryan and brother and Eric. It's great to have you here, man. I always love having you around. I'm all looking forward to this game tomorrow.
Sunday.
I keep saying tomorrow. I know. Isn't there something tomorrow?
For 2 days.
Isn't there something tomorrow? All right. Well, we're going to head off the break from Studio Kitchen, Colorado, and this is The Modern Eater.
Hi, I'm Amber with Strohauer Farms, and I'm just here to remind you that the best potatoes are grown here in Colorado. Goodness elevated. Thanks for watching The Modern Eater Show.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best. So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
Hey Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great things we've got going on locally in the state. We're headquartered right here, and we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring you amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by farmers in Colorado and surrounding states who are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries or pearl barley, those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Nations from Aspen Baking Company. It's really important right now to support local. That's why I support the Modern Eater. Now, back to the show.
All right, back to the show in just a second, but before that, it's my favorite time of the show, and it may sound crazy because I'm not eating and I'm not doing anything but talking about Aspen Baking and Aspen Baking bread, man. I don't know what you're into, but I'm into bread. AspenBaking.com, that's where you go to find the freshest bread in the city. Since 1994, our buddy Jeff has been baking the freshest bread. AspenBaking.com. You know what you're going to find when you go to AspenBaking.com? You're going to find lobster rolls, coffee cakes, crab cakes, sourdough bowl. If you get a sourdough bowl, you cut the top, that whole thing, you fill it full of any soup, any clam chowder, anything delicious, and it just knocks your socks off. You know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find chemicals. You're not going to find artificial coloring. They're not going to freeze your bread. Are you aware that some bakeries freeze your bread before you get it? They do. But AspenBaking.com does not. You want to know why? Because they do it the right way, and they've been doing it for a long, long time. So I say, go to AspenBaking.com and get some bread today. And now back to Juan Padró and the show.
Welcome back to Studio Kitchen, Colorado, home of the Modern Eater. I'm Juan Padró, sitting in for Greg Hollenbeck. Hanging out with two incredible human beings, Eric Bradley, Ryan Harris, Brother Luck. Guys, this is a really, really, really fun show. This food, brother, is incredible. Ryan, I'm gonna scoop some of this up for you right now because I know you don't eat pork.
That was the best chicken wing meat I've ever had. You know what I'm
Fall
saying? It
off
was just
the bone.
That was an
You're
experience.
Go spoon.
You know.
All right, boys. Super Bowl predictions. Brother, who do you got?
It's going to be a good game. You know, I think you've got two phenomenal teams, two different points to prove. There's a lot of experience, so I'm going to have to go with Tampa Bay.
What do you got for a score?
I'd like to see 24-27. I want to see a close game.
Which is crazy to me that today at 27-24 we're thinking of it as a defensive battle.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a defensive game.
That's a defensive game. Ryan, who do you got?
I got Tampa Bay 31-28. I think the left tackle for Kansas City, he's been out after the injury to his Achilles, Eric Fisher. The guy who's going to be playing is named Mike Rimmers. You'll remember him from every single Von Miller highlight of Super Bowl 50. And so Mike Rimmers is going to be playing against Shaq Barrett, who also won Super Bowl 50. And these guys have books on each other. So, they're going to say, hey, this move works against him, this move works. I really think that's going to be something that dictates the game. So Tampa Bay 31, Kansas City 28.
Eric Bradley, I know you're not on camera, but that's all right. Who do you got?
I want to say Tampa Bay
31-24. Yeah. Well, their right tackle's out too, I think.
Yeah, they've had two tackles out for the year. Yeah.
So for me,
yeah.
That's a problem. And the safeties are back for Tampa Bay?
Yep, safeties.
Yeah, so that's a big difference. So for me, I'm going to say Tampa Bay. I'm going to say 38-35. I just don't see Patrick Mahomes getting stuck in the 20s. I think he is a phenomenal talent. And as fat as I was at the Saints and Tampa Bay game, and how it was just such a fast defense. Their linebackers are playing great. I think that's something that people aren't talking about. I think their linebackers. I think they're going to try to take away Kelsey and see, and they'll give up some points to the wide receivers. But I think you got to take Kelsey away, and you know what, Tom Brady, win or lose, he's the GOAT. But I learned a long time ago, you just never bet against Tom Brady. So ask the Atlanta Falcons. This is that. So we're going to take one more commercial break, and then we're gonna go into my piece, Where Juan Eats. So it's the third episode of that, where we'll be at the Zeppelin station with Tycoon and Soy Pinoy. So Tycoon is a Thai restaurant, Thai street food, and Soy Pinoy is Filipino comfort food. And I'm super excited to share with you what those guys are doing over there. Time to take a break, and when we get back, we'll go right into that segment.
Well, hold on a second, Juan. Before we go into break, are you going to ask me about my Super Bowl picks, or do I not count in this because you're standing, next to Ryan Harris?
Jay?
Yes?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I would give you a hug if you were closer.
What was the question now?
Super Bowl prediction, Jay Parker.
Okay, who's playing?
All the marbles, right?
Who's playing? Tampa Bay and Kansas City, is that
New
correct?
England versus...
No. Just because everybody picked Brady, and how could you obviously go against Brady? I'm going to do it just because somebody's got to say, wait, who did everybody say? Tampa Bay, right?
Bay.
Okay, I'm going to say Kansas City. I mean, why not?
What's
Somebody's
your
got to
score?
say it.
What's your score?
What's your score? 4-9-8. Let's say, let's say, let's say, I'm going to say 31-17.
Whoa!
Oh,
Well, obviously,
Brady's going to get held to 7. Why you get held to 13
Hey,
by the Rams?
listen, and I don't want to. Somebody will be watching this
You
show.
must be a big Chris Jones fan.
And
That's
lose,
the only way that
and
happens.
lose $10,000 and then blame me that like I was actually right.
Yes.
But I was just giving you a hard time. But we are going to watch your Where Juan Eats. And
I think just before you cut to that, I just got to say congrats, man, for holding it down while Greg's been out. You've done a phenomenal job this
Thank
week.
you.
So awesome job in hosting
I
this
appreciate
week.
that.
Thank you
I'm
so
a rookie,
much, brother.
So thanks for not hazing me too much. I know you guys are pros in front of the camera. All right, time to go to break from Studio Kitchen, Colorado, and the Modern Eater. Hey, everybody, Juan Padró with my best friend Kendra Anderson, and this is Where Juan Eats.
Hey Juan, hey Kendra, how's it going?
Hey.
What's up, Paul?
How's it going?
It's good to see you, man.
Good, good. How's it
happening?
going? Welcome.
Kendra?
Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll just
cool.
fist,
Yeah.
chest, whatever bump.
Yep.
So we are at really a dual concept. We're at Tycoon, which is Thai street food, and Soy Pinoy, which is Filipino comfort food. And listen, this is some of the best food that I've had in a very long time, and this is one of the best chefs that I've ever met in my life. So this is Paul Key. And what are we going to cook today, man?
Oh man, so we got a couple dishes for you guys to try today. So I was gonna cook you some Thai street food as well as some Filipino comfort food. For the Thai food, I was gonna cook a dish we call our waterfall pork.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the second spiciest dish on the menu, but it's the kind of spice that makes you want to crave more.
What is waterfall pork? Like, where does that come from?
So the term comes from essentially, I guess, the amount of tears you shed because it's so hot.
Good to know.
Oh,
Good to know.
This could be challenging.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But it's paired with a lot of light and fresh vegetables so that it cuts that spice a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who brought the bottle of Riesling?
I know. Swirl girl.
What's up? What's up? Okay.
All right. Well, let's get going.
Yeah,
Show us what you got. I'm going to get on the other side of you here and just show us what's going down.
Sounds good. So I got a little bit of pork shoulder. Just going to season it with some salt. And basically, I'm just going to throw it on our grill. So I moved the coals around a little bit already.
Okay,
so
earlier. You have charcoal.
Yeah, I got charcoal.
Yeah,
okay. To get that flavor.
All right.
So I always put a little bit of fat.
This is butter.
Oh no, that's just like a little bit of oil, so it just doesn't stick
Oil.
too much.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So, and then I'll always season on the second side.
Sweet.
Yep. So while we have that going, we're actually going to cook you guys comfort Filipino food as well.
Yeah, so Filipino food, where's the inspiration come from there?
So I'm actually 3/4 Filipino. And it's weird because I'm not known for Filipino cuisine.
Right.
But as I got older as a chef, I started to crave something that that I grew up with. So like what my grandmother and my mom made and stuff
Have you
like
been
that.
in the Philippines?
Yeah, actually I was born there.
Okay.
I moved when I was 10.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I'm half Puerto Rican, and when I go on that island, I have a different feeling, a different sense, and I crave that food. I crave like the comfort food, the rice, the beans, the pernil, and I know Filipinos cook very similar.
It's very
Puerto
similar.
Rican,
I mean,
so,
we're still a colonized. We were a colonized country, so we have heavy Spanish influence. So the dish we're actually going to make for you guys to try is pork adobo fried rice.
Nice.
Adobo, which is something I'm super familiar with.
Yeah.
But the fried rice we don't do in Puerto Rico. So let's go. Let's get at this.
Yeah. So a little history in that dish actually. So generally, when your mom makes you adobo in the Philippines, like you'll eat it for like almost a week, depending on like it's a one-pot dish that's easy for moms to cook.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you gotta keep your family interested, right? Right. So the fried rice came about by basically cooking old rice with the leftover adobo, right? So like generally, what you cook the adobo rice,
crispy?
it's crispy. So we took all the crispy bits essentially from.
So we call it pagao.
Pagao. Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
That's exactly what we're gonna put into the fried rice.
Amazing.
Yep. So
cool. So what's going on over here?
Yep. I'm gonna let Chef over here. He's a little bit better at the wok than I am. So like I'm gonna let him do like the money shots on it.
Awesome.
So we're going to start off with, we always start off with rice. So what we do with the rice is that we take our old rice and then we spread it out on the sheet tray overnight.
Okay.
So we leave it in large clumps so that you don't break the rice grain.
That's right.
So in the morning before it gets on the station, they all break it up to where there's no clumps.
Right.
You know, what you want is
That's
no
a big
clumps.
difference between, I think, a lot of Asian rice and Latin rice. So is that Spanish? Is that like a Latin influence? Or?
A little bit, but I mean, like for me, this is essentially the best way to do fried rice because how I judge the fried rice is how independent the grains are. So if they're all clumped up together, that means that there was no thought put into the fried rice. But when it's broken up right, it eats almost like fresh rice.
Is that a medium grain white rice?
This is jasmine rice.
That's jasmine rice. Okay. We use a very medium grain, kind of nutty flavor white rice that I used to love. And just rice and beans is so good. And my father, same description as you, because he did all the cooking in my house. Yeah. And he would always say, you know, man, it drove him nuts when those rice was clumpy in any way, shape, or form. So
I remember my grandmother's favorite rice growing up was a strand called Milagrosa.
Okay.
And generally it's like Thai jasmine rice.
Okay. Yeah, jasmine rice is delicious.
So when it comes to wok cooking, we always want to sort of grease up the wok, right? So we put a little bit of butter there so that you sort of brown it and it kind of gets that smoke flavor in there.
From the butter?
Yeah, from the butter.
Yeah.
And then the next step is putting the rice, the adobo in to warm it up. So essentially, that's all the crispy bits from the bottom of the braised adobo, right? Yep. So it's like, it's all your umami, your garlic, your salt, your bay leaf, all that stuff. So we warm it up and then you throw the rice in.
Okay.
So while the rice is going, you kind of want to essentially break up any clumps that might form while you're mixing it. But at the same time stir and basically warming up everything.
Okay.
So now the pork fat, you got the butter all coating the rice.
Yeah, I can see the color of the rice changing.
Changes a little bit. And one general rule for fried rice is that we always do put it with egg because the egg absorbs all the oil.
Got it.
So like, you know, like, yeah, you can have rice with no egg, fried rice with no egg, but at the end of the day, it's going to end up being oily.
Okay.
The key to getting rid of that oiliness is putting the scrambled egg in there because that'll absorb a lot of the fat.
This looks so delicious, Kendra. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm allergic to eggs, but I'm gonna eat this.
Oh, you're allergic?
Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna make a sacrifice today because this looks amazing. I don't even know how much of a sacrifice it's gonna be.
It won't be the first time Juan's
this
done a sacrifice.
This looks amazing. So.
How hot is that wok?
So that wok, the BTUs on it get pretty hot. We actually had to adjust this one to get it a little bit lower heat. The thing is with a wok, though, the reason why it's so important is because the return on heat is really quick.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like make anything mushy. So it's always a quick cook, quick toss.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why I wanted to elect talking to you guys while I had Silvino show the wok.
Perfect. Well, that is beautiful.
Cool.
Look at the color of that.
Wow. Perfect.
It's amazing seeing that come to life. How's our pork doing over here?
We'll just put it in one of the boxes. The pork's going to take a little bit of time, but you see it's already starting to caramelize on one side. And then...
Is this pork shoulder?
Yeah, it's pork shoulder.
Okay. Why do you use the shoulder?
So we use the shoulder because it has, for me, it has a little bit more flavor than some of the other parts of the pork. Like I kind of like a little bit of chew in the meat.
Right.
So it's essentially like, you know, like a shoulder chop, chuleta kind of thing without the bone.
Yeah.
And
that is deboned.
Yeah, it's deboned.
Okay.
So we sort of already butterfly the shoulder. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so this is it's just seasoned with salt.
Yeah, this is just seasoned with salt, but
Okay.
all the flavor is going to come when we start. We mix it into the rest of the tiger crack.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Waterfall. Tears are going to be flowing today. So look at all these beautiful.
It's called
colors
waterfall pork, but then actually the sauce we call it tiger cry.
Tiger cry.
Yeah.
Everybody's crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm crying. You're crying. Tigers are crying.
Yep.
Wow. Amazing.
I'm excited.
So what he's doing over here, actually, he's topping it off with. In the Philippines, we have a version of pico. So it's tomatoes, onions, cilantro, but we put a little bit of shrimp paste in it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shrimp paste makes everything better.
So we're gonna put a little bit of bagoong, which is toasted fish paste that we use in the Philippines.
Toasted fish paste.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that give it a smoky flavor? Or what?
A little bit, but it's gonna give you that kind of funk.
Like pungent.
Yeah, it's
kinda-
pungent.
Yeah.
So we always eat adobo in the Philippines with this.
Okay.
Essentially, you think about Latin cuisine, it's very similar to salsa and
Right.
pico and stuff like that. You want to eat these things to refresh your palate.
Right. Got it.
So beautiful.
Good looking, chef. So over here, I could probably start cutting up.
Chef,
some of the
thank you so
vegetables.
much. That looks beautiful.
So for the rest of this dish, we basically we'll mix it with some tomatoes, put some cilantro stems.
Cilantro stems.
Yeah, the stems.
Yeah.
Why the stem?
And then some onions. Oh, for me, the stems have more flavor than the actual leaves, and we like to utilize the whole vegetable.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
A little bit of green onions, and for me, what really makes this dish is the mint.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is mint common
in Thailand? Yeah. Mint is used very frequently in Thai
Yeah.
food.
Amazing. I love mint.
Yeah, same. I love it in savory.
Yeah, for me, like savory. If you get savory, you get the mint and you get the spice. It all works really well together.
Yes. Amazing. Look at all these beautiful colors in here.
Oh, where's the ajat? Doesn't it get the ajat? Over here.
Is that the heat?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a pickle that we use. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's like a nice grilled pork chop.
So is this a dish that you would have eaten growing up, or is this something that as you began to get back into learning about your background that you started to love?
Oh, I mean, like the adobo for sure, but
Yeah.
this dish was introduced to me by my good friend, and one of my chef buddies, Thai.
Okay.
So he's the one that introduced me to Thai food. So he used to actually make these dishes during family meal while we all worked at Uchi together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like.
Sometimes the best food is family meal, right?
So he would start to make some of the food from his homeland, and it would just wow everybody. So we're just like, why don't we turn this into a concept? So
Do you find yourself getting inspired by situations like that, by all these guys getting together and just throwing food down?
Dude,
And being like, where did this come from? You know,
I get more inspired that way than anything else. You know, like
Yeah.
I can read all these fancy books with fancy pictures, but what gives me the most inspiration are the people I work with.
Right.
Like
100%.
every day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the things I like about you is that you always give credit to people, and I think that that speaks volumes about who you are. So.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, a restaurant is never one person. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
right.
only as good as your team and
Right.
the people that fight next to you. So,
That's right.
Yeah, I think we're almost there.
Amazing. That's beautiful. I love mint on anything. Yeah, my favorite. So, what is this?
Oh, so that's for our chicken inasal, which is another dish that I rediscovered.
Uh-huh.
So it's very similar to Mexican food in a way. So
Okay.
it's basically annatto seed. So it's achote.
Uh-huh.
So it's like achote mix.
Gives things color. and
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So you use achote actually quite a bit in Filipino cuisine.
Is that right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like your poor man's saffron. So
Yeah.
we put it in rice. We put it on lechon. We put it on and lechon's another Spanish word,
That's
right?
right.
We
Right,
put it on
right.
we put on all sorts of stuff.
We got to get a lechonaria going. And,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
right.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
right? I know. I miss that pernil, pork shoulder.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
delicious. Oh man,
So good.
Have you
right?
been to Puerto Rico ever?
Never.
Yeah. They've got a place called Guavate, which is miles of just lechonarias straight.
Oh, wow.
Up into the hills, these guys cooking on coals and just it's
And each
amazing.
family has their own like sofrito recipe.
That's
or something,
right, yeah.
That's like your
Yeah.
coveted sauce.
The
right?
sofrito, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to make it in big batches, and you know what they do? They put
Yeah.
it in ice cube trays.
Yeah.
And then they freeze
Yeah,
it.
you freeze it.
Yeah, because it lasts like 6 months. You just drop a cube in the pan. That's the
Yep.
base of your cooking.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A cube of sofrito.
That's it. Yeah.
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 So when they make sofrito, is it just all vegetables, or is there protein in there sometimes?
There's no protein. No, it's basically your onions, your garlic, cilantro. We use an herb called culantro.
Yeah,
which
we
you
use
may be
culantro.
familiar-
They use
a
it in
longer.
Southeast Asia,
That's right. Yeah, Southeast Asia. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then it's sweet peppers.
Yep.
With a couple of ahi, and a lot of times people make mistakes when you give them a recipe for it because they'll buy these Jamaican hot peppers that look exactly like these sweet peppers,
No.
which is hilarious. And then just your salt, pepper, lots of garlic, and you just kind of cook that down almost into a paste.
Yeah, it's like a paste.
And then so
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
You got to smuggle back some sofrito next time you can come down.
I'll just make it for you.
You just make it?
Yeah. Yeah. Be good.
Yeah, we're all.
I owe you one anyways. Help me with my Thai nacho recipe.
There you go.
So I think we're pretty much there. So
wow, look at that.
Let it rest for a second. But
That's like everybody's biggest mistake, right? You just want to go. You just want to go for it because
Slice
you're
the
so
meat.
hungry, and it's like,
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Yep.
I think beef you need to kind of rest maybe a little more than pork. But
yeah, beef needs a little more resting
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to make sure it's juicy and you get that crust on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loin, and it's still juicy.
Yeah, and I love that you.
I can still cook. They like to make fun of me. They're like, "Chef, you remember how to make that dish?"
Don't let him confuse you. He can still.
I know,
cook.
right?
Make sure he's cooking family meal for you.
Yeah. So this is our tiger, what we call the tiger cry sauce, which has like a Thai chili base. We toast some jasmine rice with kaffir lime and lemongrass, and then we grind it up.
Grind it up, yeah.
Yeah, basically what that does is that absorbs all the flavor, right? So it acts like as a coating to the salad. So it kind of thickens the dressing up.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chef. Where's the spoon? Can I get a spoon, Chef?
Pickled
Thank you.
cabbage.
Yep. So we just toss that guy up.
Oh, I can smell it. Just the tossing. You smell the lime, and oh my God.
And I'll do a little bit of, it's like Maldon just to finish. Put a little bit of cabbage.
Both of these dishes are colorful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm going to top it off with some extra mint because that's like my favorite part when I eat the dish. And we actually have some steamed sticky rice.
Okay.
So traditionally,
Nice.
you eat this like the way Ty taught me was basically to eat it like a candy bar. And you eat this while you eat that with your hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Hey, how does that work? You take it out and eat it, or you?
Yeah, you would take that out and
over?
eat it. So like, if you were eating that with chopsticks, you would
just
follow
like
it
one
up with
bite
the
of
rice. So the cabbage and the rice is there to cool down your palate.
Okay.
This is gonna like intensify it and be
Amazing.
spicy.
All right, let's do it.
Cool.
Learn something new.
Yeah.
I should say.
All right.
Thank you,
Well,
guys.
cool. Let's go eat.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Paul, you've gone on and you've gotten quite a few accolades over the years.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So why don't you share with a little bit of those?
So I was fortunate enough to have been on Top Chef season 9. So I ended up winning that season. And then shortly after, I got a James Beard Award for Best Chef Southwest. And then I was able to get a Food and Wine Best New Chef Award. We got a Bon Appetit Award as well as a San Pellegrino Award. So I was like, it's been really cool.
I would say
I can't take
Right.
You pretty much
You won
swept
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
But
and,
I mean, I can't like. I feel bad whenever I tell that story because it's not just all me, right? It's
Right.
me and my whole team.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's why I'm always like kind of
you've
shy when I
always
talk
said
about that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Every time I've had a conversation with you,
Yeah.
it's always been about your team,
Yeah.
which is something I love about you.
Yeah.
And another thing I love about you is your food. And we just got an
Yeah.
opportunity to watch you cook it.
Yeah.
exciting.
But I need to learn how to eat, this rice. So tell us again. Recap the story.
So basically, you want to take the rice and unwrap it, sort of like a candy bar.
Okay.
So so this is a good sample of maybe like northern Thai food. So this
Okay.
is more like your drinking type food.
So am I holding it like
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, you would eat some of the meat
Okay.
and some of the spice. Get some of that spice in.
And this
like,
is the waterfall pork.
Yeah. So
Which waterfall is going to make me cry.
yeah.
I know you've eaten a candy bar.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then you would just eat the rice and then follow with the pickles to clean your palate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it is spicy.
So this is a
And
good. a sample of Isan food, what you had alluded to earlier about Northern Thai. Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to follow that with some cabbage because my mouth is on fire.
Yep.
Okay, I'm scared.
Absolutely delicious.
I'm going to chop this off.
Chop the top off.
I don't want any Juan's cooties.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll take that.
See how he is? All the Juan all the time. All right,
That's
let's
right.
do this.
Yeah.
Man, that pork has, you talked about like a little chewiness in the
Yeah.
pork. Yeah, same here. Yeah. I think a lot of
It's
times.
not crazy spicy. I was
Yeah.
literally ready to cry. The mint is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a great add to that dish. And that's something that you decided to put in there, or is that normal? For
Oh, no, that's normal.
Okay.
So one thing when we started the tycoon concept, I promised my buddy Ty that I would never change his food.
Okay.
So any changes that we might make, I'm always going to call him up, no matter where in the world I am. Be like, hey, Ty, I'm going to do this to that. And we kind of
That's just out of respect for him?
Yeah, Ty, just out of respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Oh,
All
wow,
right.
that's great.
Isn't that great? I love that. And I love
Pickled
pork.
cabbages,
and-
everything.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yum.
now we have this fried rice, and we're gonna eat. You're gonna watch me eat something that I'm allergic to because I cannot not eat this. This is delicious.
We're not talking
You could
about
squeeze
like
a lime
EpiPen.
on there.
Not
and
EpiPen. Don't
yeah.
worry
No.
about it. I'm not gonna end up in the hospital.
I'd be like, it's not worth it, Juan.
What? Oh.
Still 100%.
That's weird.
Right? I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to say? I'm just kidding.
All right. So this is the adobo pork.
Yeah.
Okay. Fried rice.
Yeah. So you know how like you were talking about sofrito in Puerto Rico? So in the Philippines, what each household's proud of is their adobo. So each family has their own adobo recipe, and I don't pretend to compete with anybody's grandma on that, you know?
Really delicious.
Yeah.
Really chewy. And you're right. The egg does absorb the oil. That rice is like really like almost like it's a little crunchy, a little fluffy.
It might be easier to eat with a spoon.
Kendra's always up for a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, though. Since we were colonized by Spain in the Philippines, we eat everything with a fork and a spoon.
Right.
So
Notre Dame,
that's
yeah.
really changed. Yeah.
Yeah, and Thai is actually very similar since the empire of man, I forgot the name already. It's not Sam, but when they switched, right, they wanted to be more Western, so they wanted to have flatware.
Sure.
So that the king basically made a mandate and made it popular for everybody to eat with a fork and a spoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the king had to do that. So it was sort of like, okay, we're going to make a cultural shift here. And,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I imagine some purists were probably anti that for sure.
Well, if you look at Thai food, and it was pre their modern era, a lot of their food was actually just cooked in clay pots. There's no wok. So the wok was introduced by the Chinese later.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting
Yeah,
because almost all the Thai food that you see is cooked in a wok.
Yeah. Siam. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Siam. Kind of like the king and I. It's Siam.
Close. Yeah,
Siam.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
actually feel like that's the piece about food like this that's so important.
Yeah.
Is that it is an opportunity for people to learn that really the history of food is the history of the
Yeah.
world. And I think that's
Absolutely.
what blew my mind in culinary school. I knew I liked food, but I didn't understand really why. And if you're interested in facts or history, or even if you're not, it's hard not to just get super enticed by.
That's what drew me to food.
Unreal,
You know?
yeah,
It's
same.
learning about people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like how what you just said,
Yeah.
it's only because of the Chinese. We wouldn't
Yeah.
assume that. The
Yeah.
average person's going to be like, there's always been a wok
When we talk
there.
about like the soul
Yeah.
of food,
I always
not
like to
just
mess
soul
with
food,
Thai, and I was like, man, your country wouldn't have any food if Mexico didn't bring over the chili.
No, I know.
Right?
So
Really had to come from Mexico,
true.
like
Why
all
don't
Thai
we
food
talk
is
about
on
that
chili,
more?
you know,
It
like
should
it's
be taught
crazy.
in school.
Is
I
there
don't
a Thai?
understand why it's not.
Is there a Thai Mexican concept?
I don't think so, but
It seemed like that would be.
I've definitely been
would
to like
make
some
sense.
Asian,
Yeah.
Mexican, just broadly Asian, but not Thai.
Thai food in Puerto Rico is pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause,
because
I
they
mean-
grow similar growing climate.
Like Thai, like royal Thai cuisine is not spicy at all. There's
Yeah.
no spice to it because they didn't have chilies till later.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. There's
Yeah.
a lot,
I feel
a
like
lot
it
of what
should
we
be like
cook
a,
with.
a handout. It's like for you to
Right.
eat this food, you need to at least be
Right.
passably literate. About
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of what we cook with seems to have come from the East here. That's interesting that actually
Yeah.
made it the opposite way because
Yeah.
there's a lot less stories about that.
Well, like,
well,
so I
you
got,
know why.
I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with Massimo Bottura, and he was
Yeah.
telling me that in Modena, they don't make tomato sauce, you know,
Yeah.
like, because
There
tomatoes
weren't any
there
tomatoes.
weren't any tomatoes.
Yeah.
So it's only carrots. Carrots is what makes bolognese orange.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
That's
like what I used to think of Italian food, I'm like, oh, it has to have tomato sauce.
Italian American.
Right, yeah.
That's Italian American food. Those Jersey tomatoes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, Paul, you're here at Zeppelin Station. Looks like you guys are kind of taking over the programming here. So this is something that's going to be new for the city of Denver. Tell us about some of the other concepts that you guys have that are going to be going in here, and if they're anywhere near as good as what we're eating right now. I think Denver's in for a treat.
I hope so. So we're basically we're opening a new taqueria called Metate, and it's gonna have 100% nixtamalized tortillas, and it's gonna be your straight taco fare, right? So we're gonna have like your suadero, chorizo, like lengua, and it's gonna be like a set your
Any
bite-type
type
tacos.
of taco from like any region in Mexico, or are you just
No, we're just going to your I guess your like more traditional like taqueria that you'd find in like Mexico City or something like that.
Okay, Mexico City.
No.
So where it's still somewhat familiar for everybody, but we just
Gotcha.
really want to focus on the tortilla and the filling, and everything's just going to get onion, cilantro, that's it.
Nice.
Super simple street
Super
taco.
simple street taco,
Well,
yeah.
amazing.
And then we're also basically bringing the full concept of Eastside King over, so that what that means is we're doing
best ramen
sushi and all that
ever.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
And
people have told me that. I have never eaten
you not
there.
been there?
No, I haven't, and everybody tells me that's the best ramen in the country.
Literally the best.
Oh.
And it's the weirdest part of, like, not weird,
Yeah.
but Austin's weird. It's just amazing, but it's like
It's
in
fun.
this random kind of by the university.
Yeah.
You have to like walk through this like corridor.
all our Eastside King locations are
Yeah.
all weird and random like that. Yeah. And then
so good.
We're bringing over a barbecue concept from another chef friend of ours from Miami, actually.
Okay.
He was my executive sous over at POW, and then he sort of became the chef de cuisine of a place called Q in Miami.
Sure. Yeah.
And he just branched off on his own during COVID to start a barbecue brand. And I'm from Texas, and he was like, "Hey chef, come visit me. Come visit me." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "All right, it's gonna be Miami barbecue. It's not gonna be like Texas barbecue, right?"
Which I'm not sure is even a thing.
Yeah, and then I visited him,
barbecue.
and I'm like, "Holy cow! It was way better than anything I had in Texas last year."
Wow.
You can quote me on that too. Like, I'm
is
like,
that right?
Yeah, it's
All right.
that good. And
All right. Say his name so everybody knows.
So it's the chef's name's Raheem, and it's called the Drinking Pig.
The Drinking
Okay.
Pig.
Yeah.
Okay, where does that name come from?
I think it's something he came up with in his backyard, because essentially his barbecue spot was right in front of his front yard.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
I mean that's what I mean.
I love
like,
it.
his front yard, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to eat a
I'm
little
gonna
bit
eat
more
it
of
what
this
you're
too.
allergic to.
I should not be eating more of that. So,
But yeah, so I mean, those are just right on the horizon, and then and we're in the works of opening an izakaya upstairs called Kokoni, which it should be also pretty fun for this neighborhood. So
that's pretty amazing, man. Well, I'm looking forward to eating all the food, and I'm looking forward to telling people in Denver about what you're doing here, even right now. I think it's incredible.
Oh.
So, this is Where Juan Eats with Kendra Anderson and Paul Cui. Man,
Thank you.
It's good to see
Cheers.
you, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right, man.
Awesome job,
Thank
chef.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys, Jay here with the Modern Eater Show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about our YouTube and Instagram channels. A lot of killer content over there. Throw us a subscribe on YouTube. Throw us a follow on Instagram. And thank you for supporting TME. We couldn't do this without our amazing sponsors, so let's check them out right now.
Very proud to be part of the Modern Eater, and chefs, restaurant owners, any food service operators. I know right now that delivery and carry out is bigger than ever, and we got you covered. Cambro has a full line of delivery and carry out items. More economical options are expanded polypropylene or EPP, nice insulated container. The ProCard Ultra is really versatile. It's a great unit because you could actually store cold products down here, hot products up here. It's all 120. There's no refrigeration worries. It's all thermodynamics. Just let us know what your food service challenges are, what it is we can do to help you out, and there isn't anything that we can't do for you. So hope to see you over here at our facility in Park Hill soon, and stay safe out there.
Everybody, with several $1 million of hard assets here, insurance is very, very important to us. Ewing Levitt covers it all. Machinery, building, workman's comp. Ewing Levitt's got us covered from the floor to the ceiling, from our alley even to the street. This divider, this press, my cooling conveyor, my oven. Ow, ow. Ewing Levitt covers our counter stacker and our employees too. insurance, take it from Little Rich at Rockalitas. Call Ewing Levitt. They'll get you covered.
I go home, I strip down to my skivvies. All right, here we go. I got it. Hey everybody, Steve Gould from Golden Moon Distillery and Golden Moon Speakeasy. When I get my cocktails to go from Golden Moon Speakeasy, I go home, I kick back, and I watch The Modern Eater. Skivvies. Hey, I'm a Marine. It's skivvies, man.